family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock. With people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, The Helpful Place, at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Clinton staff filled the junior high school library Tuesday night for the Board of Education's monthly meeting. Frustrations from district staff have boiled over in recent weeks regarding compensation, support, and questions of district leadership. Speaking for Clinton Education Association President Nathan Wheeler, Jim Rhodes presented a statement for the district's band director, who is currently overseas with students visiting Germany. The letter from Wheeler highlights statements shared by Board President Dan Matthews concerning the Clinton Education Association's leadership.
President Matthews, I'm glad you have called into question how the union and its leadership support the improvement of learning in our schools. Has given me the opportunity to share publicly what I believe the good citizens of our community realize we provide in Clinton for our students. In regards to another matter you may want to address tonight, I am confident Superintendent Goebel will be willing to clarify some misconceptions you might have. For example, I am under the impression that you believe it was the work of Superintendent Goebel alone to hire the administrators at Lincoln Douglas CES and a new director of curriculum and learning. Superintendent Goebel, I'm confident, will confirm that it was one team of people who worked together with one mission to read resumes and interview candidates for each of these positions. Regarding the financial status of the school, I shall remind you, President Matthews, that it took one team of association members, board members, and Superintendent Goebel to approve the last two contracts. I'm sure you remember the compromises that were made on both ends to achieve that mission. In closing, I want to address a topic you may not choose to share tonight.
Additionally, the statement from Wheeler noted 80% of the district's professional staff recently completed a school climate and leadership survey. While the specific results have been compiled and shared with the administration and board members, the union chose to let the administration decide how to use those results rather than releasing them to the public immediately.
It is publicly known that a survey about the school climate and leadership of Clinton schools was recently completed by 80% of the professional staff in the district. The results were shared with all administrators and school board members, and the association left it up to the administrators as to how the results would be used. I said at the time, and will say again, that it's not my intention to share information publicly, and I have not shared it with all members of the association. However, the public would like to know how the professional educators feel about the leadership of this school district. The survey results were sent to the school email addresses of all school board members, and this information is available to the public by submitting a Freedom of Information Act or FOIA request under the state and federal law. Thank you again, President Matthews, for giving our teachers the opportunity to share about our one team and our one mission.
Board members went back and forth in the meeting over a compensation increase for District Athletic Director Matt Keppel. The item was removed from the agenda, but the board sparred over going to executive session to discuss the matter.
Need a motion and a second to approve the remaining administrator annual compensation for 2026-2027 school year.
I'm going to have to.
It refers to the person that which is Mr. Keppel, who in May you pulled it off the agenda. It's back on the agenda tonight.
Right, but do we have
the school superintendent's salary is already set. His contract calls for a 3% increase, and he gets a 3% increase. I
wasn't asking about the superintendent. I was just asking where the information is in the packet for this. I just need to make sure we know what we're voting on.
It's a 5% increase that was communicated by me to all of you. Up for Matt as a group in our last meeting, we moved to do that. We instructed it to be on the next agenda.
Because Unfortunately,
You don't have to vote on it.
it's not about not voting on it. I'm just making sure that we are doing things the correct way as far as the agenda, since nothing was in the packet regarding the monies.
Okay,
That
I'm
are
going to
involved.
pull item C off the agenda. If you don't feel that, I don't want anybody to vote on something they're not comfortable with. So item C is
Can we
pulled.
call for a closed session at the end of the meeting tonight?
No. You can call for a special meeting at a later time.
She can call for a closed session.
Go ahead.
I would like to ask for a closed session at the end of the meeting tonight.
It's the last item we have on the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion for a closed session.
Roll call. I guess we had a motion in a second.
Does that have to be posted on the agenda at a time?
I think it has to be.
I don't want to be.
I think it has to be.
I don't want to violate any rules.
You could have a closed session.
Because the administrative compensation item on the agenda was removed, there was no vote out of the executive session. In fact, the board adjourned the meeting after the executive session. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hey everyone, Paul Scarron here, CEO of Warner Hospital. Spring in Central Illinois is beautiful, unless allergies are slowing you down. If you're dealing with sneezing, congestion, itchy eyes, or sinus pressure, our experienced providers at Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton are here to help. We offer fast, personalized treatment to get you breathing easier and feeling better. Don't let allergies take over your spring. Call or visit us today. Warner Hospital and Health Services, quality care right here, right now.
SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back to school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine, forward for you.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Miguel Vargas hit a go-ahead home run in the 6th inning. Sean Burke struck out 6 in 6 1/3 innings, and the Chicago White Sox claimed sole possession of first place in the AL Central on Tuesday night with a 2-1 win over the Cleveland Guardians. Burke is 5-4 and allowed 1 run on 6 hits and 1 walk to outduel Guardian starter Parker Messick. Sean Newcomb threw 2 2/3 scoreless innings in relief for his second save. The White Sox are 22-4 in their last 26 home games, 11-1 against AL Central at home, and have won 9 straight home series after beating the Guardians 6-5 on Monday. Their 16 one-run wins are the most in the majors. Messick is 7-4 and struck out a career-high 10 in 7 2/3 innings, walking 1 and allowing 2 runs on only 3 hits. Colson Montgomery singled home Randall Grichuk in the 4th after Grichuk doubled at the first hit off Messick. Guardians rookie Khalil Watson hit his first career home run off Burke in the 5th, 373 feet to right field to make it 1-1. A week after making his MLB debut. The Guardians loaded the bases with 2 outs in the inning, but Burke induced Brian Riccio to pop out. Vargas put the White Sox in the lead for good to lead off the 6th, hitting Messick's slider 376 feet into the bullpen in left field. It was his career best 17th home run of the season. Guardians righty Tanner Bibby is 2-8 with a 4.03 ERA and closes out the 3-game series Wednesday against Sox right-hander Eric Fetty, who is 2-6 with a 4.46 ERA. Nolan Arenado and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. had run-scoring hits, and Arizona's eventual winning run scored on a passed ball, all in the 9th inning, as the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the St. Louis Cardinals 4-3 on Tuesday night. All the runs in the game were scored in the 9th inning. The Diamondbacks managed just 3 hits in the first 8 innings. In the 9th, Gabriel Moreno singled and Pavin Smith walked before Arenado hit an RBI double to left center field. Gurriel followed with a 2-run single to center for a 3-0 lead before Jorge Barosa scored on a passed ball by Cardinals catcher Jimmy Crooks. Arizona starter pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez allowed just 3 hits through 6 2/3 innings. He struck out 5 and walked 3. Kevin Ginkel is 3-2 and pitched the 8th, striking out 1 and earned the win. Braden Garcia earned his first save of the season. The Cardinals mounted a comeback in the bottom half of the 9th. Lars Nootbaar doubled to start the inning. Jose Fermin singled and Alec Burleson hit an RBI double down the first base line. Blaze Jordan hit a sac fly that scored Fermin, and Crooks hit an RBI single to right field to cut the deficit to 1 run, but J.J. Weatherholt struck out swinging to end the game. Weatherholt moved to shortstop for the game after Mason Wynn was a late scratch due to left thumb soreness. Wynn is listed as day-to-day. Matt Swanson is 2-2 and gave up 4 runs, working a third of an inning in the 9th. He pitched 31 pitches, walked 1, and had a strikeout. Starting pitcher Kyle Leahy pitched 6 1/3 innings, giving up 3 hits with 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Lefty Matthew Liberatore, who is 3-4 with a 5.23 ERA, will start for the Cardinals against lefty Mitch Bratt, who will make his MLB debut with the Diamondbacks on Wednesday for the 3rd game of the series. Pete Crow Armstrong hit a 3-run homer. Dansby Swanson also went deep and drove in 4, and the Chicago Cubs beat the New York Mets 9-6 on Tuesday night, despite an injury to starting pitcher Edward Cabrera. The right-hander hurt his left leg stretching to catch a throw at first base for the final out of the 5th inning. In obvious pain, he was carted off the field with a left hamstring adductor strain. New York slugger Juan Soto exited in the 5th with tightness on the left side of his back. Francisco Alvarez homered and knocked in 3 runs for the last-place Mets, who fell to 0-4 against the Cubs this season. Bo Bichetti added a 2-run shot in a 3-run 9th inning. Coming off consecutive rainouts, Chicago scored 5 times in the 2nd against Kodai Senga, who is 0-6. Ineffective again in his 2nd start since returning from the injured list. The right-hander issued a leadoff walk and hit a batter with a pitch before walking Carson Kelly with the bases loaded to force in the first run. Swanson had a sacrifice fly, and Crow Armstrong launched his 17th homer to right center, extending his career best on-base streak to 24 games dating to May 26th. The star center fielder is hitting .410 with 11 homers, 20 RBIs, and a 1.324 OPS during that stretch. Riding an 11-game hitting streak, Crow Armstrong has 5 homers in his last 6 games and 6 in his past 8. He was drafted 19th overall by the Mets in 2020 before they traded him to Chicago in July of 2021. Swanson, batting the 9th, added a 2-run shot off Senga in the 4th and an RBI double in a 2-run 8th. Kelly, who scored 3 times, also had a run-scoring double in that inning as the Cubs got 4 straight hits off reliever Tobias Myers, the last 3 of them doubles. Cabrera is 5-4 and gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, and 4 walks over 5 innings in the opener of a 4-game series. Cubs manager Craig Counsell was ejected for arguing a replay reversal in the 7th. The start was delayed 11 minutes by rain. A day-night doubleheader between the teams Wednesday, with the first game scheduled to make up Monday night's rainout. Javier Assad is 5-1 with a 3.89 ERA and starts the opener for Chicago against Nolan McLean, who is 4-4 with a 3.67 ERA. Shoto Imanaga is 4-6 with a 4.26 ERA. and faces New York lefty Sean Manaea, who is 1-2 with a 4.64 ERA in the nightcap. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Houston Astros beat the Toronto Blue Jays 9-7 in 11 innings. The Kansas City Royals took down the Tampa Bay Rays 12-5. The New York Yankees beat the Detroit Tigers 4-3, while the Seattle Mariners beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-2. The Miami Marlins beat the Texas Rangers 6-4. While the Philadelphia Phillies took down the Washington Nationals 14-9. The Milwaukee Brewers shut out the Cincinnati Reds 2-0, while the Los Angeles Dodgers routed the Minnesota Twins 12-3. The Boston Red Sox beat the Colorado Rockies 5-2, while the Los Angeles Angels beat the Baltimore Orioles 5-1. The San Diego Padres took down the Atlanta Braves 7-6 in 10 innings, while the San Francisco Giants beat the Athletics 3-1. The Chicago Bulls had 2 top 15 picks Tuesday to highlight the first night of the draft in the Central Division. That represented a major change from last year, when the only Central team with the first-round pick was Chicago, which took Noah Asenge at 12 overall. Chicago selected North Carolina forward Caleb Wilson with the 4th overall pick and took Texas forward Dalen Swain at number 15. Wilson becomes the 3rd North Carolina player the Bulls have drafted in the first round. The Bulls selected Michael Jordan 3rd overall in 1984 and Kobe White 17th in 2019. Wilson's lone college season ended prematurely when he broke his right thumb in a non-contact drill while trying to come back from a fracture in his left hand. He still earned second-team Associated Press All-America honors while averaging 19.8 points and 9.4 rebounds. Wilson upgrades Chicago's overall athleticism. When Bryson Graham was introduced as the team's executive vice president of basketball operations in May, he mentioned the acronym SLAP, size, length, athleticism, and physicality, and the 6'9" Wilson fits right in. The 6'7" Swain averages 17.3 points and 7.5 rebounds and 3.6 assists as of last season with Texas. The Buffalo Sabres acquired the number 4 overall pick in the NHL draft in a trade that sent defenseman Bowen Byram to the Chicago Blackhawks on Tuesday night. As part of the deal, Buffalo also acquired third-year defenseman Louis Crevier, who had a career-best 25 points in his first full NHL season, and a second-round draft pick, 46th overall. Chicago also acquired hard-hitting forward Jordan Greenway. Byram is the key player in the trade. The 25-year-old had a career-high 42 points and matched a career-high with 11 goals in 82 games in spending much of the season playing alongside captain Rasmus Dahlin as Buffalo's top defensive pairing. He was part of a deep and talented blue line that contributed to the Sabres winning their first Atlantic Division title and snapping an NHL record 14-season playoff drought. Buffalo hosts the 2-day draft that opens with round 1 on Friday night. Byram adds offense to a team that finished 8th in the Central Division standings for a 4th straight season and hasn't made the playoffs in 6 years. The Blackhawks have struggled to improve despite picking 7th or better in each of the past 4 drafts, a stretch that included them selecting Connor Bedard 1st overall in 2023. Chicago has a group of promising young defensemen, including Artyom Leshinov, the number 2 pick in the 2024 draft, and Kevin Korchinski, the number 7 pick in the 2022 draft. But the Blackhawks needed another veteran leader on the blue line after trading Connor Murphy to Edmonton on March 2nd. The 29-year-old Greenway is a 10-year NHL veteran who spent 3+ seasons in Buffalo. He played a valuable checking line role, but has been slowed by injuries, limited to 74 games over the past 2 seasons. Byram spent his first 3+ seasons with Colorado, where he won the Stanley Cup in 2022 before being traded to Buffalo 2 years later. The Sabres now have 6 picks in this year's draft. The Washington Capitals acquired right winger Jordan Kyrou in a trade with the St. Louis Blues on Thursday night. Washington sent veteran forward Connor McMichael, prospect Milton Gastrin, and the 16th overall pick to St. Louis for the 28-year-old Kyrou, who was under contract for the next 5 seasons at a salary cap hit of $8.125 million. Capitals general manager Chris Patrick foreshadowed making a move like this after doing more selling than buying at the deadline in March. Kyrou gives the team another player in his prime to join a core around Tom Wilson, Jakob Chicharoun, Dylan Strome, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Alexei and Ilya Protas, Ryan Leonard, and Logan Thompson, whether or not Alex Ovechkin returns. Kyrou had 18 goals and 28 assists in 72 games with St. Louis last season, producing below expectations for someone signed to be a key contributor. He is a 3-time 30-goal scorer, reaching that mark consecutively from 2022-2023 through the 2024-25 season. McMichael, who is 25 years old, had 46 points in 78 games with the Capitals last season. Gastrin is 19 years old and was the 37th pick in the draft last year. Washington still has the 18th pick Friday night as part of the deal that sent longtime defenseman John Carlson to Anaheim in March. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Noah Atkinson here. As owner of Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs in Lincoln, I know small business is important to our communities. That's why I'm pleased to be the exclusive sponsor of the WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month.
The Vault Community Center on Mr. Lincoln Square in Clinton is a nonprofit teen community center offering an environment for social, academic, and spiritual growth through opportunities and services. They'll receive a $200 gift certificate, good at Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs, for being our WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month. Nominate a business you'd like featured by emailing us at WHOW@randyradio.com.
Congratulations to this local business for all they do for the community. And don't forget, for envelopes, wedding invitations, signs, banner wraps, and more, go to LincolnPrintersInc.com.
At SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Inspection of Iran's nuclear enrichment sites is a key element of the U.S.-Iran deal to end the war, but there's a dispute over whether inspections have been agreed to. Tehran says they have not, while the UN's chief nuclear watchdog says they have. And President Trump says a 100% inspection regimen is part of the agreement. The president has a luncheon today with Republican senators on Capitol Hill.